Okay, hello. This is our recording for the presidential election debate 2024. I'm so happy to be working with my amazing teammate, Mabel, and we are excited to dive into this. So let's get started.
Sure. Okay, I'm Mabel, and I will briefly talk about the abstract of our final paper. The purpose of this study is to present our client, the Texas State University Division of Marketing and Communication, a solution to the anti-political attitudes of students enrolled in the university. Basically, students have a low turnout for participation in political matters, and in preparation for the upcoming 2024 presidential election in the United States of America, we have put into considerations a couple of research questions, focusing on students enrolled at both our university campuses in San Marcos and Round Rock, who do not actively participate in politics, such as voting and other political related matters. And more specifically, we investigated the passive engagement behavior of students pertaining to politics, and we assess the various ways to make Texas State University students more engaged in political matters. And our keywords are politics, engagement, participation, students, multimedia, voting, marketing strategies, and communication.
Awesome. So our main goal here is to find ways for our client, the Marketing and Communications Department at Texas State, to increase the student engagement overall and also their interest among all races and ethnicities, including Hispanic population, as we know that is a large population in San Marcos. And this is in preparation for the presidential debate that will be held at Texas State University on September 16th, 2024. Some of our objectives to do so is going to be leveraging social media platforms and using this to advertise and promote student engagement. Another objective is to offer short-term and possibly long-term incentives for the upcoming marketing campaigns, and to also just increase the number of registered voters on campus overall with these communication strategies. Due to past low engagement that we've seen across all levels of students at Texas State University, the results derived from the past elections show little to no participation from students, as well as just their interest. So our main goal overall is just to increase this using these tactics.
Awesome. So, based on our focus on the upcoming presidential election, we decided on these constructs, and these following constructs are goals that influence the solutions to make students more interested in the political affairs. And these constructs are student engagement, community, and civic responsibility. And you can go ahead, Ellie.
Totally. So we went ahead and used 8 different articles, secondary research for this. And these just go into some of the past ways that technology has been able to kind of like dive in and see the digitalization of politics so that we could get further research and further just ideas on how we were going to implement this into our strategies.
Yeah, and these are very much tied to our constructs and our hypotheses and research questions. Which brings me to the hypotheses and the research questions. So our hypothesis one is that students are passive with political matters because they are not interested in politics. And the second hypothesis is that students are uninterested because they don't understand the politics of America. This includes international students like myself. Our first research question is, will students participate more if there are incentives for voting? Our second research question is, will students participate more if the medium of information is more influenced through social media platforms like X, which is a former Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram?
So some of our variables for these include students, age, race, engagement, social media, ethnicity, education, religion, and incentives. Our control variable for the study is students. Our independent variable is race, gender, age, ethnicity, education, and religion. And our dependent variables are social media platforms like X, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as campus marketing, communication, and strategy, and incentives.
Awesome. So these variables are key factors in understanding the issue of low student engagement, and it helps our client foster like a sense of ownership among students, improve education on these matters, incentivize critical thinking, and increase civic responsibility. I mean, by providing opportunities for students to actively engage with their communities and advocate for issues they care about, educators and community leaders can inspire a new generation of informed and engaged citizens committed to helping students participate in the upcoming presidential debates and elections.
So for our secondary data analysis, we refer to a research method that involves analyzing existing research to find the answer to the question that is different from the original work. Our methodology is the population of this study is the combined number of registered students at Texas State on both campuses. The method that we used is distributed to Texas State University students from the Pew Research Center on the past presidential election, and a quantitative and cross-sectional analysis was used to extract existing data from the last presidential election and use this to integrate it into our research questions and also the questions that we formulated for the survey.
Awesome. So based on the Pew Research from 2020, we got this graph that shows the party votes by gender. And these secondary data analysis literally presents categories of gender, race, ethnicity, education charts, and all that. This particular graph shows like a slight increase in Republican males, a larger increase in women who identify as Democrats, and a medium rise in males who identify as independent. And this is relevant to the study at hand to understand the demographic audience we're working with and their differences regarding gender and political party affiliations, which helps us, putting together our survey questions, which we would share as time goes on.
So the next graph is showing the large differences between different racial and ethnic groups and their political party affiliations. This political interest in our demographic audience before creating the content is important in order to formulate those research questions like we mentioned.
So, all right, this graph shows the data from the previous presidential election on the Pew Research, and this is focused on party by education level. It shows the sum of postgraduate experience and four-year college degree, and some college and high school. And it also shows that education is also like a key component of one of our demographics lives, since the study is focused on people who are seeking education past the high school level.
So our sample size is a simple random sampling technique to select 5% of the students from the large population of 38,000.
Simple. All right, so back to our research question. The first research question is, will students participate more if there are incentives for voting? So to answer this research question, we will be using a quantitative data analysis with data from a previous Pew Research study, which we shared earlier. And the second research question is, will students participate more if the medium of information is more influenced through social media platforms like X and Instagram? To answer this research question again, we will be using a quantitative analysis to determine the impact of social media on students' engagement regarding the upcoming election.
So a questionnaire consisting of 30 questions with topics on demographics and reasons why students vote or do not was distributed to registered students of Texas State University. The survey questions were about the probability of participating if there were incentives offered, as well as, talking about social media and certain incentives like that. And it was distributed on the 12th, the 16th, and the 18th of April. 959 invitations with 79 responses, which may seem like a little, but was actually quite significant for this survey.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was a combination of open and closed-ended questions as well.
Yes, so we had Elliot shared their survey questions, so with a couple of them. But we streamlined to using the ones that are very much related to our constructs and our variables. So we have our survey analysis based on the report we got from our survey. We focused on question 26, question 39, question 37, and question 39.8, because they're very much related to our constructs and our variables and very much related to our research questions as well. And so question 26 says, or asks, which of the following civic activities related to the presidential debates would you consider participating in? And there were a couple of options. And this particular question specifically relates to our research question 1, because incentives can be introduced through activities that promote the construct of civic responsibility and engagement for increased participation of students in the upcoming presidential election. And survey question 39 speaks to our research question 1 again. And the question is, I will be more inclined to participate in the upcoming presidential election if incentives were offered at Texas State University. True or false? And this is related to our question 1 because it suggests that students will most likely participate more if there are incentives for voting. I mean, I will if I had incentives. Okay, so survey question 37 asks, through which of the following channels would you prefer to receive information about a presidential debate? There were a couple of options, and this is related to our research question 2, because it suggests that students may participate more in voting activities if the medium of communication is more influenced by social media platforms like X, Facebook, Instagram. Survey question 39 asks, I will likely participate in the upcoming presidential election if I were more informed about the candidates and their platforms. And there was a scale of 1 to 5, and each respondent selected. And this is very much related to our research question 2, because the awareness of the platform of the presidential candidates may determine the level of interest of Texas State University students.
Absolutely. So for our cross tabulation, we were able to divide it between male, female, and non-binary. And these were the different categories of our incentives, which included debate watch parties, discussion forums / debate, voter and registration drives, and informational workshops on voting, shows and concerts, visual art presentations, interactive activities, as well as nature-based activities. And in this cross-tabulation chart, you will see the different percentages and how they differentiate based off of gender.
Awesome. Okay, and these other cross-tabulation speaks to one of the questions that talks about which channels students would prefer to receive information on, and we had like quite a couple of options: university emails, university websites, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, Texas State mobile application, campus flyers, poster, university star. And overall, we see that there were more female respondents than there were for the male respondents. And as time goes on, we would analyze this cross tabulation and the other graphs that we plotted from this.
So here's a graph explaining the cross tabulation with the descriptive data. The interactive activities chart here shows that there was a much higher percentage of females, as we mentioned earlier, who selected interactive activities as a preference for these incentivized presidential debate activities, with the results at 73% compared to men at 23%.
Yeah, and these for the debates watch party, it shows a higher percentage of females selected debate watch parties as a preferred incentivized activity for presidential debate activities, with results of 67% compared to men at 33%.
Here's another graph explaining social media as a way to increase student engagement. And once again, females being higher at 78% with males at 22%.
And this one is focused on the University Star News Organization, and it shows a higher percentage of females selected University Star, which is the on-campus news organization, to increase students' engagement in preparation for the upcoming presidential election, with percentages at 72% for the females compared to men, which is at 25%, with a non-binary of 3%.
Here's one more with the Texas State mobile app chart as a way to highlight and advertise this event, with 76% female compared to men at 20%.
Yeah, and the final chart for this is focused on the university email. We had quite a number of females indicate the interest of receiving information through the university email, and this percentage is on 68% for the females, and 30% for the males, and 2% for non-binary.
So we included an in-text analysis in the final document for this research study. You can go more into this in the document, but it's basically just what we explained previously with the different incentives as well as the different marketing strategies for our client to take a look into, so that way they can incorporate these in reaching the final objective, which is just promoting involvement across campus.
Absolutely. So the data the chart showed earlier just shows that the Debates Watch Party has the highest vote for students incentives, and the other cross tabulation shows that the most preferred communication channel is the university email. I mean, overall, this data shows that more females participated and responded to the survey, and are more likely to get involved with civic activities that will promote involvement in the upcoming presidential election. And the meaning of the findings are important for our client, because it not only gives them an insight into demographics, but it also answers their questions about where they can most effectively send out their information to target the largest number of students effectively in preparation for the on-campus presidential debate, both through the use of marketing and students' incentives. I mean, this also helps solve the problem of low participation of students in Texas State University in presidential elections or political affairs.
Awesome. So our conclusion and campaign suggestions for our client. The research question and cross tabulation suggest to our client that combine enjoyable extracurricular activities with the presidential election. This is going to get young adults who are in this age range more active and engaged in voting because they see it as fun. So 2 meaningful suggestions based on the research. I suggest that the marketing department should integrate incentive strategies like debate watch parties and discussion forums, and those that were higher on the ranking from the survey, as well as advertising these events via university email and the website, the Texas State app, University Star, and social media, all platforms that students actively see. Another suggestion is for the university marketing department to create content in preparation for a campaign that is directed to advertising this debate watch party, and also brainstorm other extracurricular integrative activities for students that are around advertising this presidential debate, and incentivize these students to prepare for such events.
Awesome. So based on our research questions, our hypotheses, our survey, our findings, we suggest to our client that a presidential debates watch party campaign can be created, which would offer participation grade or extra credit incentives. And our clients can advertise this campaign events via university email, university website, Texas State mobile application, University Store, and on social media platforms like Instagram. We think in the course of our study that these suggestions will significantly increase the participation or involvement of Texas State University students in the upcoming presidential election if adopted or applied. And we do have our references and bibliography we have more comments or more in-depth information about this on our Google document. And this was so much fun to do. This research was so much fun to do. And I absolutely enjoyed doing it with Ellie.
Likewise, Mabel, this was an awesome way to use our existing research knowledge and integrate it into a real in-person active campaign that can be seen. And hopefully these results are seen with the turnout at Texas State for the presidential election.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.